No, no, let me be honest. And you know I am the soul of integrity and honesty. If a Marvel writer writes the story, any one of our characters could take them down. If a DC writer writes the story, any one of their characters. It depends on who's writing the story, that's all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, Mr. Lee. My name's Rebecca, and I was just wondering, you know, you're like a phenomena. Like, you're one of those people that will be remembered forever, and you've done so much for the comic community, and I was just wondering, out of the millions of things that you've created in all of your life, what was your favorite? Like, what was your most memorable comic that you created?
You know, people ask me that, and I try to answer it. And sometimes I'll say, you're asking my most favorite comic book?
Yeah, like your most memorable one.
Memorable? I'll sometimes say The Silver Surfer. And then I think, gee, there was a story I wrote for Daredevil where he protects a blind cop. I really loved that story. And then I'll think, I love the introduction of Galactus in this Fantastic Four with the Silver Surfer. And then I'll think, but boy, that first Spider-Man story. And I can't answer it because I've come to a terrible conclusion. I am my biggest fan, and I love everything I've got to tell you, people used to ask me how I could write so many stories so quickly. And it was simple. It's because I was also the editor. And because I'm a big fan of mine, whatever I wrote, I liked. So I didn't have to rewrite it. I didn't have to make any changes. And that's the way I am. I mean, I have to admit it. I really love the stuff I do.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Christina, and I just wanted to tell you that I really like all the characters that you've created for Marvel, and I just wanted to know, why did you even, like, when did you realize that you wanted to work for the comic book company and business?
When did I realize I wanted to work for the comic book companies?
Yeah.
Well, I got this job when I was about 17 in the comic book company. I was an assistant to Jack Kirby and Joe Simon, who were the fellows doing the Captain America at the time. And I didn't think I wanted to stay in comics. That's why I changed my name. Everybody hated comics. People had no respect for comic books at all. People thought they're read by very young children or illiterate adults. And I was embarrassed to be doing comics, so I changed my name from Stanley Martin Lieber, which was a nice, normal name. I cut it into Stan Lee, and I figured nobody will know I'm doing this. But after a while, I began to realize that it really takes a bit of talent to do a comic, to do a good comic. And there's nothing to be ashamed of, because people love to read them, and it's a good way to tell a story. So I think in 1961 or so, I was about to leave the field because I was going to quit. Because I had been doing it for about 20 years, and I felt I was getting nowhere. I loved comics by that time, but I wasn't getting anywhere. And that's when my wife told me, why don't you do one book the way you'd like to do it instead of the way your publisher tells you to? Get it out of your system, and the worst that'll happen, he'll fire you, and you want to quit anyway. So that's when I did the Fantastic Four, and it violated a lot of the things that Martin Goodman wanted me to do. He wanted the heroes to have costumes, and they didn't have costumes. He never wanted too much dialogue. He said, people don't want to read dialogue, they want to see action. Just put a lot of fight scenes. But I gave the Fantastic Four a lot of dialogue. And he said, don't bother worrying about characterization, just give them action. But I tried to make real characters. And the book sold, and then as I mentioned, we went on to the X-Men and other books. And that was when I decided I really love comics and I'm going to stay in the field, because now they started getting respect. What happened was, with the first Fantastic Four, we started getting fan mail, but most of it was written in crayon. A little bit later, the fan mail was written in pencil. Then later it was typed. Then after a while, the return addresses were from schools, and then later from colleges. Oh man, it was a great feeling, because we had never gotten fan mail before then. Sometimes I'd get a letter and it would say, "I want my dime back." A staple came out of the book. I'd hang it on the wall. I'd say, "Look, a reader wrote to us." So that's about it. If I answered your question, that was it.
And we are going to have to stop there because we are going to be whisking Stanley away for now, but you know.
I'm just getting started.
I know, but we're going to see him again. So help me thank Stanley for coming and joining us.